You can make this year the absolute best for your music career, and these are the methods for you to do it, because once you're in the right mental space, for me, I'm all about making this year the best year of my career, of my business, and so there are things that I actually put into play before the end of the year that are already working, and I'm excited to share what those are, and I know that Orko is also implementing some of this stuff. I guess let's just kind of jump into it. When we're talking about making this the absolute best year, the first method that I'll mention is, I kind of call this the quarter hack. You know, the whole, let's look at the year, 12 months. What are we going to do? Let's be clear on our goals. That's overly simplified. So this is how we actually create a method to execute in a way that will result in progress, in better relationships, more money, more followers, all the things. So the quarter hack is essentially taking the 12 months and thinking, in 12 months, what do you want to be celebrating? Okay.
Like
So
that.
this might be you're launching a new side project, you have a new band, you have a new thing. And so maybe in 12 months, you want to be celebrating that you released an album, a 10-song album. You would have done, let's even conservatively 6 to 8 shows, right? So they're going to be really good shows, not throwaway like, karaoke nights, but like really good shows. Or you have other goals, right? So maybe it's just physical. Maybe you want to get healthier so you have more energy to do the things that you love. And so whatever those goals are, from now you go, in 12 months, I'm going to be celebrating those goals. Well, how do we do that? And the way that I do it is that you break it into 4 quarters, right? So 3 months, and you reverse engineer, right? So kind of what I've set for myself, and you can chime in on your thoughts on this. But, quarter one of this year is about fixing the business. We always talk about think like a record label. And so for your music career and what you're trying to do, think in the way that a label would, in that we want to make sure people see your music, buy your music, come to your show, and to monetize yourself so you make money. And you're not just kind of complacently sitting back, you make the music, you put it on the platforms, and then it just, makes you some
Right.
sense. And then we're like frustrated that we don't make music from or money
Right.
from our careers.
Right.
And so getting a lot more tactful. So quarter one is about just fixing what is broken right now in how you do what you do and how you make money. And so you're going to spend the next 3 months, and your whole life's goal is to figure that out and actually put something into play. Quarter two would be to amplify your message, right? So how do we actually get the message, meaning your music, your voice, if you are on a mission, because I have people I work with who are like, I'm super spiritual and I want that message to come through with the music. So, amplify the message. Quarter three, increase the revenue. So then we're going to actually be making money because we fixed the problems in quarter one. And then quarter four, for me, I have ... I haven't decided yet. If you're a hustler like me, working on your career every day, go to topmusicattorney.com to apply to work directly with me. Let's get your music business to 6 figures and beyond.
I think the most important thing, the one that I'm still kind of focusing on for myself, is the first one, which is fixing the mistakes and still doing reevaluating and putting in systems. This is something that we can go years before we actually take a look at what we're doing and things that we're doing wrong. And even today, like I had to reevaluate something that I was doing for a long time, that I just kind of put in autopilot. But I think that is key, because you need to look at your numbers, you need to be looking at your analytics, you need to be seeing about how much money you put out, how much money you actually brought in, see where those gaps were, and look at that stuff, and what could you have done, knowing now this is where you were from last year or last quarter or whatever it is you want to start from. um is key, because if you don't set yourself up, if you don't have a clean workstation, it's going to be very hard for you to start writing and to start doing things. So is it, you got to get your office set up, you need to get your studio set up, not I don't mean perfect, you got to buy a whole bunch of shit, but I'm saying having a workstation. Have you been looking at your website lately? Have you looked at your links lately? Have you took a look at your social media? Are you looking at other people's social media to see what works and what doesn't work? And are you applying that to your stuff? Have you made schedules for yourself? Are you keeping them?
No, I love that. So it's not just kind of, setting goals of where,
Yeah.
what you want to be excited about and celebrating in 12 months, but how are you actually going to do it? Because if you don't take control over all the aspects of your life, then you are now a
Right.
victim to everything that happens to you, because you have allowed all these external things to be the thing that has
Well,
control
you're
over your
always going to
life and
be
your reactions.
you're like, it's like you're drowning. You're always just going to be, you're going to be getting a little up, and then the things that you didn't fix are going to be pulling you back down. You got to get yourself into a good starting point. Now, that doesn't mean take off 3 months and don't do anything else that you're supposed to be doing, because you're just working on the plan to fix things. But it means that you do have to take that time, and that is huge. And once you kind of get to a place that you are once you get that kind of worked out, like everything else will fall better because you're already working from a good place. Like what is that saying? It's like, with every tweak that you make, you want to make it just a little bit better, like 1 or 2%. And so, by the end of, your first quarter, you've already 30%, 40% better than you were, previously when you started. So it's huge.
Yeah, and a great resource for just, Atomic Habits. It's such a
Yeah,
good book,
Atomic
and
Habits.
it's a quick listen as well if you wanna listen on Audible. We both have gone through that one. It's just great for as far
Really
as
good.
getting yourself going, so you can just execute on everything you want to accomplish and then actually accomplish it. So that's method 1, which is the quarter hack. Method 2 is I call this the pie of your life. I have drawn a diagram, and then you probably
Oh,
won't be able to see this too well. So you draw a little pie for yourself, and
I like pie.
in that you're going to have kind of your categories of what matters the most to you. And so, for example, you might have body and mind, right? So just physical wellness. You might have spirituality, so that's kind of like one category. So for me, it's body and mind. Another one's going to be your identity, so meaning how are you showing up every day? Are you showing up as the person that you want to be, right?
Yeah.
Another one is going to be money. How much money do you have? How much money do you want to be making? Another is going to be just your general growth. How important is that to you, that you learn something and that you get better or that you just improve something? And then lastly, your social life, which, in that is going to be romance, family, friends. So in that, what you do, the tactic is that you draw out a little pie chart and then you have these different categories and then you're going to number each of them from 1 to 10. And I promise that if you actually do this and like pause this video later and go back, but actually draw it out and in each of the categories, put in a number. And so for me, for example, it's very like, whoa, when you look at it. And I go from 1 to 10 of where I think I am for each of these categories. For example, on identity, on like showing up and being the person I want to be and all that, I feel like I'm a 6. I feel like I have some work to do because it's the consistency of how often I show up as that person for my body and mind, and just
Mm.
kind of how well I'm doing and my health and all the stuff. Like a 7, doing pretty good. Still a lot of room for improvement on my general growth. 5, my social life. That's probably the worst. It's like a 2 as far as just it being a priority for me, making time for it. Money, like a 9, because it's where I put a ton of my attention for my music businesses and trying to monetize and all of that.
Mm.
It's very, very important. So it's high on my list. So I don't know if you're writing one out right now as we're chatting. I'd be curious what you had. Music Attorney is your #1 legal resource for artists, producers, and record labels. Get contract templates, one-on-one legal advice, free master classes, and everything you need for your music business. Go to topmusicattorney.com.
I'm looking. I didn't really number it. I didn't really do the pie thing. I'm just kind of writing what you had, and I'm just trying to think about what order I would kind of put my
Yeah, well,
priorities
and
at.
let's and I'll remind you. So, give me so for body and mind, spirituality, 1 to 10. What do you got?
I don't know. What is that? Like a 3?
Okay.
I,
And
it's
is and knowing that it's a 3, how do you feel about that? Do you feel like that's something, whatever, you're fine with that, or do you want that to be
No,
changed?
it's something that I want to be changed, but that I would like to work on. But I just know myself, and I know, like, if I was putting my list of priorities, that is actually probably more towards the bottom, and I think that's probably like a lot of people. But then that's also part of the problem is that if I'm not taking care of my body and my mind, how do I expect to accomplish all the growth and all the, hard work as if I'm not at my core, you know? I mean, so I guess a goal should be the things that I'm having the harder time with. I guess my goal number for the year or something should be higher than for the things that I have a harder time with because I'd want to work on those more.
Well, right. So we're doing the gut check of the pie right now. Where is it at, and how do we feel about it? So then the next one was for your identity, the kind of person that you want to be, and what's the number that you would assign to it of are you that person right now? Do you show up as that person every day? 1 to 10.
Mm, a 6,
Okay.
right? Does that sound about right? You know me, like, I feel like a 6.
Well,
I don't know. I guess identity is
you have to
different.
judge it.
I guess a different. I don't really. I guess I don't really think about that. Or do you think that I think about that? I don't really think I think I really
I
think
don't
about
think you
this so
think
much.
about so I don't think a lot of us think about this stuff. And that's
Yeah.
why this is a really helpful tactic to actually get what you want this year. Because then we go into, for example, your social life. You're like, no, it's totally a 10. Well, maybe that's the problem, right? Maybe you're
Yeah.
dedicating all of your
I'm
time and
like
effort
you.
to hanging out, and I have people tell me this, like, oh, my friend, they're going through a divorce and they keep asking to hang out and I don't have time to work on my stuff because I just have a few hours after work every day. Go, that's your problem. You're too nice of a person. Sorry. Like, you really need to be able to delineate the time and how you're doing it. So this is a really helpful exercise. So please make sure you actually go through this because, I do this quite frankly like once a week. I reflect on the week
Mm,
and I go, how did I show up this week? Did I hit my goals? Where did I fail? Where am I going to do better next week? And so I'm constantly like doing a gut check. So that's the pie of your life strategy. But then based on that, and when you're looking at these numbers later, what is the joy that you generally have in your life? That's the other big piece here. And you go, cool, I'm killing it and I'm making all my money and I'm super awesome. My identity's great. I think I'm great. But then, how happy are you?
mm.
So then you put a number to that 1 to
What,
10 because
happiness? Yeah.
joy, that's the word we're using, joy.
Oh,
And so in your music career from, what you're doing, how many shows you're doing, you're going to have a number from like a realistic standpoint of like, how are you doing in life? Right. But
mm,
generally, how are you feeling? Because this goes to the process. And I always go back to this for everything. I go, if my next music video, my next song, my next project completely fails or blows up and it's the next biggest thing on the planet. For me, none of that matters if I have a horrible time going through it because that's my life. Like those were my
right.
moments either way, regardless of the end result. And so that's why we definitely put a number to the joy that we're feeling.
Well, joy is a big one for me. I'd put that, what, like an 8? Like, I like joy.
And if that's the case, then yeah.
I just wanna be happy. I just like being happy, and, like, my biggest, if I had to go through the list of the things that you like, my most important things would probably be the joy, the growth, and the personal, like, just like the other kind of things, but I guess growth kind of encapsulates all of it as well, so, I
Right.
don't know,
All right. So,
but I need
but
to work
but I
on.
we're doing this to kind of prime you because then method number
Mm,
3 is your daily visualizations. And I want to say this because I was talking to someone who was looking at starting their music business and they just were super excited and there was all this like genuine passion of I'm gonna figure this out and I kind of don't even want to tell people about it just yet because I don't want people to poo poo on my idea or give me their thoughts. I just want to do it. And so what I say is the book The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, read it, listen to it. It's a pretty short listen and it will change your life. The way for you to get to let's say 6 figures. We talk about it practically on this
mm,
channel, the methods, right? Social media, your contracts, all that stuff. But a part of what's going to get you to actually do it is these visualization methods. So for example, you do a little bit of like visualization meditation and
sure,
stuff, right?
sure,
Okay. So basically, what this book talks about is you need to visualize the person that you want to be, not as in that person is in the future, but that person is right now. And so
right,
you go, when I get up from sitting here quietly, listening to my wave sounds or whatever it is, I'm going to be that person. And you work on that every single day. And by doing that, it changes you energetically. It starts to rewire your brain. And you literally become this person before you even realize it because you're like, no, it's not in the future. It's now. And
right,
for me, this literally is what happened for me, for some of the biggest financial jumps that I made with my music businesses was because I just got kind of fed up. I'm like, I don't make enough money.
right,
Like I work so hard, and
right,
at the end of the day, I've only made like a certain amount of money, and this I don't know, this doesn't work for me anymore. And so I just became this like, no, I make this higher amount, and then it just started
you just
happening
thought,
because,
right,
yeah, because all of a sudden now my brain started opening up. I was like, oh, I should do this, I should do that, and energetically stuff that just started coming to me. So it's a real thing. But if you want to kind of get a jump start and like, how do I do this? The Secret by Rhonda Byrne, and just meditation in general, getting your brain under control because for a lot of our students, they talk so much about, I started something, I tried something with social
mhm.
media and I just couldn't keep myself going, and I got burnt out or then I got, I didn't post the thing. I made all the content. I just didn't post it because I was just like, I was kind of hating on myself. Need contracts for your music business? Go to topmusicattorney.com to get downloadable templates such as NDAs, record label agreements, management agreements, featured artist agreements, and so much more. Go to topmusicattorney.com.
Well, I mean, it just in like you're saying, as also, as you're going through and setting your goals for the year and your quarterly goals and just different things. One thing that you like to do and stuff is to celebrate the wins. You know what I mean? Like, and to recognize, something I think we all should be doing to help us get into that mindset of being that person that we want is when we have, something that did well or every day or just something that we're kind of proud of that we accomplished or if we have at least one thing that we're accomplishing that would be like, ah, that made me feel good, and like recognizing it to yourself. I think that's also really important, just to kind of finding things to reinforce the path that you're on, and then celebrating the little wins with yourself, whatever that means to you.
Yep. Yeah, and on the actual execution piece of how to really promote yourself in social media, I'm gonna give you a great resource for that here coming up. But so that's the method number 3, which is your daily visualizations. For number 4, it's actually leveraging information because what I find for so many people that I work with, whether I'm representing them as their attorney or they're our student, is that they have a informational gap, which is
Mm,
where they are
yeah,
squandering their
right,
time.
for
And
sure.
so, as a music producer, you're like, I don't know how to get my stuff in, TV and film and games. And so you just don't know that information.
And
And so
then
you have all this
you're
great music.
and never will take action because you just don't know. And a year would go down the line and you didn't even try to find the information, and all that time you're just like, I don't know how to do this. And then you just let time go by.
Yeah, and because you're frustrated,
Right.
which is so understandable, and trust me, like the technical issues we run into when we're just trying to record a
Right.
song, and just like the headache of an hour of the stupid wire or the
There's always something.
glitching and stuff, and now you just don't even want to do the stupid thing because you're so
Yeah.
frustrated. We
Right.
get it. But
Yeah.
anyway, so but specifically the information. You investing into your education specifically and taking the time to learn the things is more valuable than
Yeah.
anything else you're gonna do, because that's gonna be the thing that gets you to be able to think now like a record label, to be able to make money. We want you to be able to monetize your skill set, your music, all the things, but you got to learn about the music business. So, for those of you who are on this channel, give this video a thumbs up because you're watching it, you're here, you're awesome, and that's really cool. All right, we're trying to gamify all this so you can actually make your dreams a reality. But it comes with the stuff that we're talking about. So, I had promised pro tip, the video, search it, Top Music Attorney. It's the 5 best ways to promote your music in 2024. We'll link it at the in this video as well, just to make it easy for you. But you definitely want to watch this, as far as these are some of my absolute best tactics that I've used. I used it for my
Mm.
last big song release, and it got like an insane amount of traffic
Dude,
to the song, the video. Like go
lots of
watch
gems.
that. But, in the meantime, for this year, the goal of this video was to help give you some methods so you can make this year the absolute best for your music career. And these are the methods for you to do it, because once you're in the right mental space, you are unstoppable because you'll implement all the other stuff that we teach you.